I'm gonna be opening up and putting together my Ender 3 today. I made a mess opening the package, but it did come packed very cleanly and everything was all nice and secure. So I opened this up, and the first step is align and install the Z-axis limit. So we got that guy installed, all ready to go. I skipped ahead a second, but I also put in the base with the screws. And I gotta say bravo on them for labeling every little package of screws with the size of the screw and actually just saying what type of screw it is. So these ones say M545. It even says the M545 screws and gasket. You know, it tells you everything you need to know. Way to go, guys. That makes it a lot easier and makes me feel a hell of a lot better about it. Even if I didn't have anything wrong the other way, I like this way. Next step is throw this side on and put the power supply. Alright, we got the other side on and a cat. Alright, and now we got the power supply installed. I had to double check it like 4 or 5 times to make sure I had it the right way, but the other way it was up this high, and so I know that wasn't right. So here we go. And in the same step, it wants us to put on the front. It wants us to put that little screen on, so we're gonna do that. Okay, we got the screen installed and plugged in, I think. Okay, it says use the 2 M418 screws to install the Z motor. Let's do that. Okay, we got the Z motor plugged in, installed, and we put the shaft on. And watch this thing spin. She's pretty damn good. I'm super wobbly. Okay, now we gotta mount the Z-axis to the X-axis to the Z carriage. Okay, now we got that bar mounted to these 2 screws right here. Actually, that's a good angle. These 2 screws right here, which you got to put in the hole first and get to them through a different hole. So you got to get a little creative. And anyways, pretty easy to do though. Alright, now we're going to install the Z-axis timing belt. Got to find it. Oh, there it is. Got the belt out of the baggie. Now we got to get it aligned the right direction and follow the instructions on how to get it on there. Okay, now I'm going to put the X-axis, the printer head, onto that. I'm really glad I double checked the cord though, because it was wrapped around the base plate and that would have really restricted the movement. And I actually had enough to install it that way, so I wouldn't have known any different, but it would have been a bad problem later on. So when you come to this step, make sure you just untangle this from the bed. That's all. Okay, we got that on there. It was a little interesting to try to understand their diagram, but we got it figured out. Alright, so next thing we got to do is install the Z-axis passive block. Okay, so that's that thing right there. Just pre-tighten the screws, it says. Alright. Okay, we got the back piece, we got the front piece with the little pulley system in there. We got both sides of this guy installed. You can see there, and there we got the brass fitting, and the rest of it is a little cable-y doodad that goes up through here, and this goes like that. And then this part right here is the Z, and this goes down or up, depending on whatever it feels like, and whatever you tell it to do. Usually finds a happy medium. Alright, next thing. Install the top gantry profile and profile cover. Okay, we got the top all attached now. We got everything a little loose. We're going to run it up and down a couple times and then tighten everything back up. Okay, now I'm going through, plugging all these wires in. Got the X limit, the X motor, the extruder motor. We got the Z motor. And these are all really conveniently labeled. See these little yellow clips on here? It says Z. That's how you know that it might be the right one. Alright, we got everything tightened up. I just got a couple more cords to plug in, like the power supply cord here. Should be pretty straightforward to plug in. Bam, bam, bam. Alright, and then we're going to tidy this up a little bit and we'll start our first print. Oh, I forgot to show you guys, that came with this cute little end cap so we can put on here so it doesn't look so ugly at the top. I still have to find a way to get filament to go through here without getting on this. They changed a bunch of stuff in this design, but that was something I hope they changed, and they definitely didn't change it at all, so it still sucks. So anyways, and I also have to put a nozzle on right here on this side so it can hold the plasticky tubing shit stuff that the filament goes through. Alright, and Ramen found out he's on camera, so now he's gonna do that. That's a good kitty. Okay, we got everything all tidied up and tightened down, and I went all 4 directions here. I went to all 4 corners and adjusted each of these knobs to where this thing was going down and he was hitting the clicky clack just about the time that it comes into contact with that. So we're pretty set up, pretty good, I think. At least enough for a fire test. I got this guy converted to solid, exported him as a mesh, as a STL file. Put him down into the Prusaslicer. We're just going to do it whimsically. I'm not going to change anything. We're going to let it take all 5 hours that it wants to. And how long does it want? 5 hours, 8 minutes, and 18 seconds. Alright, we're going to export that G-code. Alright, we got our PLA strung along on here. Going down through yonder, squish this little thing right here, squeaky squeak, pushed it through, watched it come all the way down and in there. Now we're going to fire it up. Alright, so we got the SD card that came with it out of the little SD card holder thing that's supposed to be an adapter to make it USB, but the last time I bought one of these it didn't even work. I'm not even going to try it this time. I'm going to put it in my trusty dusty old SanDisk over here and we should be good to go. Okay, we got it exported. We put it onto the SD card. We're going to eject it so we can be as safe as we can. These SD cards that come with this kind of stuff are really, really iffy and they never work for very long, so be careful with them. So we put the SD card into the SD card slot, and we want to make sure you push it in and you get that nice satisfying little click. That way you know what's in there. It's really easy to accidentally stick it in, not the hole, and lose it forever. Shred it, break it in half, or get it in there upside down, and then you're in a lot of trouble. Okay, so we got the power cord plugged in. Everything should be all good to go. We're going to turn this on, do a little fire test. Doesn't smell like fire yet. The screen actually works on this one. That's nice to see. We got the standard Ender 3 ready stuff going on here. Turn the knob, or do I press a button? Oh, okay. I'm going to try to auto home it first, just to make sure that the home's in the right direction even. It's not telling me anything. Okay. I'm gonna go to home. We're gonna go to print from the fucking card. And try the stud master. I really want to try the cap, but let's just see. Alright. Now I gotta hurry up and wait. Okay, the bed is heating, it says. Looks like the nozzle's heating up too. But it's telling us first the bed's heating up because that usually takes longer. I just felt a cool breeze on the top of my head. We're going to close all these windows up and let it get smoking hot in here. Okay, it's doing something now. We have no idea what. It still says bed heating. Whoa. Okay, bed is still heating. We are moved up a little bit. We're at 44 degrees out of 60. I really hope that these don't cause me a problem. I think they're going to. This one makes me very nervous. Alright, it still says bed heating. Nothing's on fire yet. This thing's set to 205. I think that's a pretty hot nozzle, especially for PLA, but I didn't change any settings. I should try to push some filament through there. Okay, so I did, and filament did come out of there. I hope I'm not extruding part of the nozzle or the stuff that's supposed to be not melting. Okay, it's turning black now. Oh god, here we go. Okay. I don't think it's adhering to the bed. Maybe. This is sketchy. We already lost the clip. I am not going to fuck with it though, because that was my problem every other time I've tried running a 3D printer in any capacity. Okay. Gotta pull the back down a little bit. I noticed we're nice and good at looking up here anyways. And we were very not looking good back here. Okay, I was totally wrong about it not adhering to the bed at all. It is adhering to the bed very well, actually. And it's doing much better now that I had that adjustment in the back a little bit. And by default, on normal, this was about 0.2 millimeters per layer. It's been going for about 10 minutes now, and you can see we're getting really, actually quite consistent and nice little top pattern here, and it's smoother than I was even hoping for a first print ever. Brand new out of the box. I've had it for a couple years, but today I just put it together. I'm procrastinating for 2 years. I spent the 180 bucks on it 2 years ago. Been wishing I had it running every day those last 2 years, and I finally ran out of other things to ADHD on. I didn't really. I have plenty that I could ADHD on, but this just won today. So another win for the brain today. See you in 5 hours. All right, we just hit our second layer. You can tell because the Z over there is now saying 0.4. And when we exported this in Prusaslicer, we know we had 0.2 on each level. But I also saw this at 0.2. So anyways, I know by looking at this. You should know. I also noticed that the temperature went down on the extruder, which is kind of scary. It went from 205 to 200 on the second layer. I would hope that these settings will work. I've never actually used the default settings from Prusaslicer on an Ender 3 in my entire life. I like messing with settings, and I really like optimization, even though I'm not very good at it, and I usually have a hard time believing that a piece of plastic this big takes 5 hours, and I try everything I can to speed it up, and I usually regret everything about it, what I do. I really hope that these do a different style of fill or something, but I can tell it's doing the walls first. It's not a problem at all. It makes me kind of feel good that the walls are turning out alright. And also, that was our last chance to adjust the bed before we make any adjustments. Now they're going to change everything about the geometry of our part, and it's going to mess it up. So we are now stuck, but I am totally satisfied with it. You can see a change of the gradation as the lighting refraction as you go across this thing. What that means is nothing really. It just looks cool. If I knew more about it, I'd be able to tell you, like, oh yeah, because it's more shiny right here at this angle than this angle, that means something. I'm sure it does. I'm just easily abused and I could stare at it for a while. Here's the actual printing head in action. See if I can do this without melting my phone or smashing it. That angle that you gotta get in there is really hard to focus on, see, and not break your camera and your back at the same time. This is gonna take quite a while. As you can see here by the progress bar, we're nowhere yet. So, yeah, we'll keep you updated as we go. And I am happy to announce it is going the opposite direction for each of the lower end faces, which is good because I wasn't thinking about that when I turned the part 45 degrees to fit it onto the tray. The first layer actually went this way down it, which I don't think is very strong when it's on its own that way. If there's this way and this way action, you're usually pretty good. If I didn't know any better, I'd also say it's moving a little bit faster here on this second layer than it did on the first layer, which makes me feel pretty good that they had, you know, their brains turned on when they were doing their automatic slicing properties for the Ender 3. It's good to see that it takes its time a little bit more on the first layer. If you can't get a good first layer, you should probably stop the print because there's a bunch of layers, and if the first layer is not turning out alright, it's kind of a easy way to save yourself some filament by just stopping it and figuring that out first instead of printing 700 layers of garbage. Okay, it is on its we are finally 1 millimeter in the Z direction, and you can hear it going to town, doing its little infill dance. This is actually an infill that is three-dimensional, and it kind of like goes like this as it grows up. It's kind of cool looking. I think I'm gonna say gyroid. I just did it 5 seconds ago, but I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, it's in Prusaslicer. Okay, we are now on the stage of infill. We're at 1 millimeter tall now off of the deck. Check it out. Going strong, man. Very strong. Our percentage is now not 0. Nice. It is it's getting somewhere. A little over halfway. It's getting pretty close. Not bad for a first print, I gotta say. She looks pretty nice. It's not done yet though. Okay. 5 hours, 11 minutes, and 18 seconds it says. And here's our finished product. And it just got done. So let's see how it looks. Alright, so it came off of the bed pretty easily. Check it out. Success.